Hello. Today we're going to have an absolutely huge surprise, so stay tuned. Hey guys, how you doing? I just want to welcome you to the Vision Alignment Show. As you know, I've been going through a lot of stuff, and today I want to come clean, and that is that this is my new body. This is what I've decided to go with, and I have a letter I'd like to read to you from my daughter. If you'll allow me to do this. Who are you, and what have you done with our dad? I'm just kidding, guys. It's Wes Wyatt. I'm here with co-host Eric Bam, and we are taking over the Vision Alignment Show for Brian Wagner. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
Well, I got to change that.
I was like, wait, what? This is like a body take. No offense, but of all the bodies I would take, I mean, I don't know if I would take yours.
I don't want it. I mean, truth be known. So I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
Well, I'm excited to be part of the Vision Alignment takeover today, Brian. We could just run this thing right off the rails and he'd never have another viewer again. And sorry about your luck, dude.
I say we don't even give it back.
Just change the passwords and everything. So, yeah, I mean, just change it all up. So what do we want to talk about today?
Well, I'll tell you what I want to talk about first and foremost has to do with what you see around here, what you see at the beginning. Now, it just so happens Brian was the wherewithal or had the wherewithal to have his bumper loaded into his StreamYard, but you'll notice that I'm broadcasting from a different angle than I normally broadcast from because I'm normally coming from that angle when we do the penalty box, blatant name drop plug. But the reason that I didn't do that today was because I was still loaded in on StreamYard on that computer for our show. And if I would have logged in, I wouldn't have been able to get to Brian's stuff. So the lesson or the first lesson for today is number one, I have not kidnapped Brian. The joke from his daughter is just a joke. Second, if you're going to fight about going live, you need to stop doing it because whether you're doing it from this little beauty or a webcam, or if you see the camera, above, that's I guess what they would call level 3 of doing this stuff, just do it. This is not a plug for video, but yet I still do it. So it is absolutely vital in this day and age to get intimate with video because it's not going anywhere. So that's my first, if you will, shot on goal. To borrow from our show. What is your topic for today that you'd like to cover?
I think my topic for today, or my thought for today is, as we're on vision alignment, my thought for the day is vision is the art of seeing, what can't be seen. And, I think a lot of times we look at leadership and we hope that leaders have vision. And I think that's seeing what's coming that can't be seen. So Alexander, good morning. How are you? AJ, good morning. How are you? So I think, from a leadership standpoint, one of the things Brian talks about a lot is, about vision and seeing what's coming ahead. And it's so hard sometimes to see what's coming down the tracks and, what's in front of you. But you still have to, kind of like you mentioned about doing live, you still have to get up every day and you have to put one foot in front of the other. And so many times, a lot of times this year, a lot of people got stuck. They paralyzed themselves by overthinking everything and analysis paralysis. And I don't know. And what will people think? And how will people react? Who cares? Who cares what people think? Who cares about how people react? As long as you're okay with it in your heart and your mind, go do it. Go take the steps, have some vision, and see what's in front of you. See what can't be seen. And some of that, I guess, maybe to speak out of both sides of my mouth, seeing what can't be seen, but at the same time, vision. Brian and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago about visualization and visualizing what you want, and some people call it manifestation. Manifesting what you want. Rev Ciencio, who was on the penalty box a couple weeks ago, talks a lot about manifestation. And you have to see in your mind what you want, right? See it. And if you'll believe it and you'll talk about it, you'll pray about it, you'll tell your friends about it, you'll post on social media about it, guess what? You will win and you will get what you want. Michelle's a great example of something that kind of along those same lines. I talk a lot about intuition, and I think intuition is God talking to you. That's my thought. That's me. Okay. And some people can really listen to their intuition. Some people don't. And I think it's a muscle that you can grow. Right. And Michelle is a great example of something came to her a couple of weeks back. She said, hey, I had this idea that we should collect coats. And it was part of this whole intuition thing. And I think that's something we should do. And so our group, our Megamind group, has probably collectively at this point, probably over 500 coats that we're all donating. I'm donating today. I've got 71 at home, and I've got a few more to pick up from a friend before I go donate them today to the Mercy Mission in Glenpool, Oklahoma. And you know what? That was all came because of an idea and a thought that Michelle had to go do this. And like I said, sometimes we get things, there you go. Sometimes things get put on our heart, and sometimes things get put on our mind. And when you have an idea, take action, and don't worry about what people think, and don't worry about what people are going to say. Worry about how you feel. And I've had some coffee this morning, so I'm just going to keep going here, Wes. But I think sometimes we get so hung up on what other people are going to think about us. And the reality is, Wes, they're only thinking about themselves anyway. They don't care. And if they're so massively insecure that they want to get in your grill or they want to make fun of you, screw them. You don't need them. That's right. Michelle had that idea in church, which is an even better place to have it. But if you want to have some vision in your life, you know what? It starts right here and it starts right here. And when you've got an idea that's in your heart, an idea that pops into your head, take some action. And maybe you can't see what's coming down the tracks. Maybe you can't see how people are going to react. And maybe you're worried about what people are going to think and will it fail? And that's a whole nother subject. Great. If you fail, great. Own that stuff, because failing is amazing. When I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I can't screw up. I love to fail. I fail every day. I love it, because you know what? When you fail, you get better. When you fail, you learn from it. When you fail, you go, all right, you're not going to get me tomorrow. I got this. So there's my little vision alignment rant for the day.
Well, I have three things to bounce off of you from just what you already covered there. One is I agree with you about the feelings of inside and giving, but I also agree with another part of it, and that is I believe that worrying is like praying for what you don't want.
Oh, yeah.
So, and by the way, that's not mine. I wish I had come up with that. But most of the time, the things that you worry about don't even happen. So it's absolutely positively not.
It's all going on in here.
That's exactly right. It's the stuff you sit there and just wring your hands about, and then you find out that it's not that big of a deal. I had a friend of mine one time who I think it was because of parking tickets or a speeding ticket or something. Something happened. They got a summons to court, didn't go, and then they thought for years that they were going to be
thrown out or something,
and pepper sprayed in the eyes, and they didn't drive for 3 years. Her boyfriend would drive her around for 3 years, because of this. And when they finally, broke down, I think it was, they got pulled over, and when they looked at her license, they were like, do you know you have a outstanding warrant or, something to that effect? And she's like, yeah. And, basically put her hands out, and they're like, just go to court, pay the thing. And she's like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
That's all. And live with all that worry for all those years. AJ just posted something about taking action is important. And And one of the things about worry, and I know you said you had 3 things, and I think that was number 2, but one of the things about worry, and you realize this, like I said, the older you get, and I think seeing AJ's comment about taking action is important. Else the idea will, and he's talking about having an idea, taking action, or the idea will disappear and go away. And I agree with that 100%. But to your point about worry, is if there's something you're worried about, it's not in our nature to run to it, but run to it. Whatever you're worried about, go attack it, because once you attack it, you realize A, it's not that big of a deal, and B, it goes away, right? Yeah. Take action. So if you're worried about something, if you're nervous about something, a lot of people get, like, we'll do live things like this, and people will get super nervous. Actually being nervous is a form of excitement. People don't look at it that way. They look at it like, oh, like they're scared to death. It's actually a form of excitement. Be excited about it. It's okay. It's okay to be excited. And, kind of along the lines of doing live stuff, people get so worried about, do I look good? I always look good. This is
what they say. What is it they say when you get butterflies? Just make sure that they fly in formation, or is that?
Yeah. But no, I said to your point number 2, which was, to be worried about something. If you're worried about something, just run to it, man. You'll feel better about it. The worry will go away. Just run to it. So did you have a number 3?
Actually, that was the number 1. The second one, and there's 2 ways of saying this. Okay, the kind of down homey way is you can't throw alarm clocks into the graveyard and wake the dead. That's the easy one. The one that's kind of eloquent and nice, and I've covered these on other podcasts and things I've done as well. Eric. But
be Eric Bam on all platforms.
It's the one eye thing.
Yeah, right. I got one eye.
That's right. So the second thing, and the more eloquent way, is for those that see, there's no explanation needed. For those that can't, there's no explanation possible. Now, I may have butchered that, but it's
I get the premise,
the first one, and that is, when you get out there and you're doing stuff, a lot of times, and I've actually spoke to Brian about this, if you're talking to, right now it says 3 live viewers on this, and I think this is probably for YouTube most likely, but the whole thing is that sometimes you will be doing it to nobody. You may be doing it to just you and your cat, or your Michael Jordan posters or whatever. But the point is that you'll keep getting better and better and better. Yeah. And the people that are going to get it are going to get it. And the people that don't, they're not the people you're after anyway. They're not that avatar. So the third thing leads right back into that. And that is, there's a gentleman that died several years ago. He's a pastor in the Bahamas named Miles Monroe. Absolutely amazing guy. And one of his kind of mantras was to die empty. And he got that from talking about the richest places in the world. And he said, it's not the diamond mines, it's not the oil fields, it's not the places that you would ever attribute wealth to, it's the graveyard. And the reason why is because that's the place that people went without having shared, whatever it is that they were talking about. Brian thinks, I'm going live and there's nobody here, but there's somebody that will watch that in a replay that's what they needed that day. And that may have been the one thing that told them, hey, you know what? Keep that oxygen habit one more day. And that is honestly, I don't mean to sound sappy, but the truth of the matter is, and I've never had to go into one. I hope I never have to, but I've been to them before with friends and whatnot. And it's going to take away the anonymous part of this. Not that you know who it was, but if you go and you listen to these meetings, they'll say sometimes you need the meeting and sometimes the meeting needs you. And, I think that when we do these, and Eric, I can say this without trying to butter you up, every single time I talk to a mega mind or one of my friends here online that I consider to be an influencer, I go away with something that they had that I now have as part of me, and I share it, and it goes beyond them to the point that at some point they're helping people that they've never met. And, that is a very, very, very special way of
it's the ripple effect.
Yeah, and you and I are a couple of people, so we don't get serious a lot, but that is the best reason right there to do a live or to do a info series or whatever, if you don't want to go live, you can sit and record it and post it to YouTube or something like that. But do not die empty, because that is, the biggest, robbing of the world is to not give them what you got inside of you.
Yeah, I want to give you a pro tip here. I did 1, 2, and 3. So when you get to 3, I did do this. People that do 3 like this, don't trust them. That's a pro tip. Pro tip. People that do this on 3 or this, like that kind of stuff. That's that. Ted's on here. Ted's probably one of these guys. I bet. Just weirdo guy, right? Ted probably like, oh, 3. He's like this. Like or one of these guys. If somebody does other than this, they're maybe a little out of place. And I mean, it's not all bad, but just don't trust these people 100%.
The superintendent from Breakfast Club does it real odd. I got you for I don't know,
3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours.
I'm just telling you. See, that's a perfect example.
You're right.
Don't trust these people.
Okay. See, if you guys learn nothing else, Bam just brought the power.
Pro tip.
Bam! That's what you get.
Throat punch today.
Do not trust people that. Now, what about toddlers? Because they'll always, I'm this many.
Well, that's totally different.
Okay. So what age do you not trust?
Adults, just adults.
Adults. Okay.
AJ just said, ha, ha, ha. You know why? Because AJ does this. He's one of these guys. He
probably is.
AJ's like, oh, 1. He's like 1, 2, 3. No, AJ, we're not doing that. This vision alignment, change your vision. Don't do this. Be normal. Do this. I'm not like advocating normal on everything, but I'm just telling you, I've dealt with enough people in my 50 years that when people do this or people do this, they're weirdos. There's something just a little crazy about them. So
probably the same kind of people that when they shake your hand, they tickle it with a finger.
Yeah.
oh, that's the worst.
Along the lines of that, because our friend Big Randy, I talked to Randy about the shug. You know what the shug is, right? That's like when you meet somebody, you're like, hey, and you shake hands and you like hug at the same time. Pro tip number 2 of the day. Okay, here's pro tip number 2. Don't shug anyone. Okay, like I like you enough. I don't like you enough that I'm not just going to full hug you. Either shake my hand or hug. Just one of the. Don't do one of those. That feels weird. That's not cool. Don't do the shug. Right. Just either shake my hand or hug me. Like if we're bros, just give me a hug. And by the way, pro tip number 3 for you weirdos. See, weirdo pro tip.
Wait a second.
See what I'm doing there? You can't. Pro tip number.
You can't even do it.
Pro tip number 3. Treat your friends good enough that when you see them, you just hug. Just give them a hug. I mean, post-COVID, right? Just give them.
I'm guessing the chug probably come about. I have plenty of
urban friends I tried to shake hands with. Wes, it's not a chug. It's a shug.
The shug. The shug probably come about from a extremely white guy like me trying to shake hands with one of my urban friends, and I tried to go in, and I was gonna fist bump, and it just ended up being that. That's gonna be my guess.
Yeah, shug is the SH is shake hands, and the UG is for hug. So shug. I coined that. So every time you say it, you owe me a nickel. But Ted says he does it the normal way. I don't see when you have to say you do it. Ted doesn't. He doesn't. He's doing something creepy, weird. I know he is.
Social distancing, not doing any.
That's why I said post-COVID. So after COVID's over, just shake hands or hug. Don't half meet in the middle, and you go full vision alignment. Just go full hug. And even like with your weird buddies, like Wes, the first time I'm gonna shake, I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna say right in your ear and be like, I love you, big boy. Just like that. Did you hear what I said?
I think you said I love you, big boy.
I'm gonna right in your ear, and that's gonna be super creepy, but we're bros and it's gonna be funny.
I want you to drag it out though. I want you to actually make the hairs in my ears stand up.
Yes.
So have me questioning my entire marriage.
Yeah, AJ said in India it's namaste. I like that. You can do that. So in India, AJ, are you in India now? I know we're global because it's you and I. But if you're in India now, that's cool. Anyway, hey, this has been fun, right? The Vision Alignment Takeover. I have a fake eye for everybody watching right here. I lost my eye when I was 10. So this is a fake eye right there. See? So I, there's only one eye in Eric, always true. And literally, figuratively, all totally true. But you know what? I lost my eye when I was a kid. And Ted, I feel the love, big boy. Ted, I'm going to do that with you too, man. I'm going to hug you and be like, I love you, big boy. That's what I'm going to say to you too.
I love you, Ted.
I love you, bro. Just right in your ear and hold you just like an extra 2 seconds where you're like, this is creepy.
This feels right.
This feels good. Yeah. Brian's gonna he's gonna be like, why did I let these guys take over?
He's at the hospital right now screaming at his phone going, no!
Yeah. So anyway, I grew up with a fake eye, and I love any one-eyed joke. I'm good with it. I roll with it. I have people sometimes, what's interesting about having one eye? I'll tell you, here's an interesting pro tip number 4 is one of the interesting things about, with 4 is just 4. Now, if you do something like this, that's just super weird, right? It's 4. But one of the things you realize when you have one eye is that a lot of times when we look at people, we don't look right at intently at, we actually look at them, right? So when someone actually, I have had this happen sometimes where someone will look at me and you look at one eye. You can't look at 2 eyes. You look at one eye. And so I've had people be like, and I'm like, oh no, right? And I'll literally say, oh, look, I have a fake eye. And so that happens once in a while. People, I'm seriously, West, people are like, no, good eye, looking right at you.
That's awesome. I had a lunch lady that had either a wonky eye or a fake eye, and she would ask you if you wanted peas, and the kid next to you would be going like this.
Yep. No peas.
Until she'd finally reach out and shake the person she was actually looking at.
Yeah. So that happens, but it is one of those kind of weird things when we look at people. We don't tend to look them in the eye. We look at people, and you realize that when you have a vision issue or you have maybe a lazy eye or whatever, and some people are super insecure about it. I just own it. I'm like, no, I'm looking at you, fake eye, right here, look just right at you. So
for everybody that has that, and I just said wonky. I realize that is not the medical term, but I am not the guy to give you the medical term, especially not the mumbo jumbo Brian throws out about his stuff. I check out because those words, I'm looking them up, trying to figure out what he's talking about. So
he is not the word.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not. And if you have a doctor that uses that term, leave, because he's probably
go somewhere else just immediately, because wonky is not the right term.
Probably just 2 kids in a trench coat trying to get beer, and they just wandered into a doctor's office or something, like the Little Rascals.
Yeah. Well, along those lines, though, I think we all have insecurities and we all have things about our body we don't like, or things that we don't want attention drawn to. I was on a Michelle and Kellen show a few weeks back, and Candidly Speaking, and we're talking. Are you going to plug them right now?
No, it's a name drop.
Oh yeah, name drop. But I was talking about the fact that some people think that I have love handles. I don't. I'm just really high hipped. So, and that's okay. That's okay to be high hipped. I told my son's 23, and we have this conversation, seems like about every 6 months, but the earlier and the sooner that you can be comfortable in your own skin and to embrace the things that make you unique and different, the better your life will be. Quit trying to worry about what everybody thinks. Quit trying to be a supermodel on Instagram. Just be you, right? Like if you're high hip, just own that stuff, right? No. You got a fake eye, own that. You're
wear the same shirt every day.
Yeah. You got crazy back hair, braid that stuff and be like, check this out. Like own that. Just be who you are, because
I talked to your son 2 days ago.
You did?
I did.
How'd that happen?
Added him on our Megamind group. By all means, plug the Megaminds. Brian doesn't care. By the way, he's not here. What's he going to do about it?
Yeah, no, we have a Megamind group, Megamind Pro, that is Ted's in that group, and it is a private mastermind group. It's a huge whopping $20.21 a month. See ya, AJ. See ya. And we've got a small group in there, and everybody's learning and everybody's benefiting everybody else, and we're focused. Mondays we talk about goals for the week, and Friday we come back and how did you do? And I lead that group, and we have a lot of fun, and it's uplifting and positive, and there's not enough of that in the world. And that's number one. There's not enough of that in the world. And number two, I think the other thing is sometimes people that tend to be high achievers or want to be high achievers feel kind of weird, like, because we live in this kind of world where people are like, hey, I just want to be average. And so sometimes when you surround yourself with high achievers, you're like, I'm not crazy, right? And because some high achievers tend to live their life on an island. And so that's what's kind of cool about these groups. And so if anybody's interested, just you can find me, the Eric Bam, anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, at the Eric Bam. And if you want to check it out for a month for free, let me know. We'll get you in there. It's a lot of fun, and it's uplifting and positive. And Ted's going to apologize for his crazy. Ted's in our mastermind group, Megamind Pro, and he was on a 216 the net this morning, and I started watching it, and he was awesome. I love you, big boy.
And by the way, Brian is in the Megamind. So
yeah, Brian is in Megamind Pro as well. And some of the stuff with him that we've talked about is goal setting. And he said, I never really thought about it. I never thought about what my goals were for the week. And so one of his goals initially was to get over 100 subscribers on YouTube. And I think he was at like 46, and he's now at like 186, something like that, which is great. And so it's all good.
It is all good. And by the way, Brian, at the bottom of the screen here, Brian has got brianwagner.podia.com/newsletter. The great thing about that particular site, if you go to it, it is again, brianwagner.podia.com/newsletter. What it does is it's going to give you access to Brian's newsletter. The newsletter is then going to go and give you Brian's one sheet, because if you don't know this about Brian, he is an excellent keynote speaker. If you're looking for someone that
TED Talk, right? He did TED Talk, right?
He has his own TED Talk. Wow. He has his own book, which is called Sometimes It Does Take a Brain Surgeon. You will get access to that book for free, the cover and the full PDF from that newsletter. You will get his one sheet. And you will also get a let me see, what is the third thing? The fourth thing. The fourth thing is so cover, PDF, and one sheet, but you will also get the Wink workbook.
That's the Wink. Sorry.
Yeah, the Wink workbook. So you'll be able to go get that Wink workbook, and you'll be absolutely mesmerized by the information in it, because it's something that, all kidding aside, guys, everybody here, myself, Eric Bam, everyone that's listening, we have all got blind spots, and we've got things that we need to work on, and that Wink workbook will do exactly that. So it has now been about 30 minutes.
Can I give you my final pro tip of the day?
Yeah. Are you giving it?
Well, I'll give a pro tip.
You give a pro tip, and then I'm gonna wrap it up.
I want to give you my final pro tip of the day. With Christmas and New Year's Eve approaching, you may be around a little bit of family, obviously social distance, but here's my pro tip. I don't care what you're wearing, right? Wear a blazer, and people will be like, why are you so dressed up? Like, you could literally be wearing tennis shoes, ratted out jeans, AC/DC t-shirt from 1984, put a blazer on, and people are like, what? Who said to dress up? Like, literally, wear a blazer. People will think you're dressed up. That's my pro tip of the day.
So I've got to Eric Bam this. What if it's only a blazer?
That's one of these.
Okay.
That's doing like one of these. Like, don't just wear. I mean,
that's the uncle that gets into the eggnog a little too early.
Yeah, I mean,
like, hey, everybody, look at this.
Hey, whatever happens in your bedroom with your wife, now just make sure you're wearing other clothes. But I'm just telling you, you could wear, Ted's probably got some Poison t-shirts from 1982. Wear one of those, has a hole in it, a pair of like cut off denim shorts with flip flops, put a blazer on. People are like, dude, we didn't know this was a dressed up thing. They trust me, guys, wear a blazer. Pro tip of the day.
That's a good tip. Well, my tip is one that is going to come from the great Zig Ziglar.
Nice.
And that is, if you treat your wife like a thoroughbred, you'll never end up with a nag. All right. That is good advice. That will keep you in bed and not on a couch. And I tell you that because today is my wife and I's 20th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
And, we've liked each other for at least 14 of that, I'm sure.
Awesome.
And that thoroughbred advice is excellent advice. Even though Zig is over the rainbow and no longer with us, somewhere he's up nodding and going, "Yep, good advice."
We're gonna do a bonus vision alignment time. Okay. We're bonus vision here. I think if Zig Ziglar was alive today, he would look at stuff like this and go, "Are you kidding me?" If Ziglar had this stuff in the 80s and 90s, be able to do a live, to be able to reach out to people via text, via audio, via social media, his mind would explode. And yet we still have people that are like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And you know what I say to those people? I love you, big boy.
I love you, big boy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm done.
All right. Well, I'm done too, guys. Thank you so very much for being part of the Vision Alignment Show. Brian should be back tomorrow. We hope.
If he's not, we can do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, and we may just tell Brian, "I'm sorry, you don't get your show back, big boy." What's he gonna do? He's gonna.
I love you, big boy.
Yeah, I love you, big boy.